So now it appears at this very moment in time that the present Tánaiste, the Leo Varadkar, is being grilled in the Dáil regarding another criminal act of his, which is the disclosure of confidential information which could have swayed an official decision. He did this before, he admitted to it before, he's admitted to it this time. It's good drama, good theatre to watch what's going on in the Dáil. Of course, it's of no significance whatsoever, because everything that is asked and said in the Dáil is covered by Oireachtas privilege. That means that whatever Mr. Varadkar may admit to in the Dáil cannot be used against him in a court of law, either a civil court or a criminal trial. So this is theatrics that we are watching. This is theatrics. There is no more to it than that. It is of no significance or substance. This proves the extent to which our Dáil is a talking shop. Now, let's not get on to the issue that Fine Gael, in their mendacity and evil, tried to raise a few years ago about allowing Oireachtas committees to make findings of fact. That's wrong. The only place where a finding of fact should be made is in a court of law. That's right, and that's a present protection that we enjoy in our constitution. Fine Gael brought in a referendum to allow people to ask the electorate to allow Oireachtas committees to make findings of fact. They rejected it. That was right. That was the right thing. It is not for politicians to set up courts. It's for judges. We need to have a separation of the judiciary and the legislature. But the net result of that is that the proper place for Varadkar to be answering questions about this activity of his and the activity that he admitted to when he lost the run of himself in the White House in 2017, he should be on trial for that. What we have here is a situation that is every bit as serious as Watergate. Probably more so. Probably more so. What unseated and unseamed Richard Nixon was less serious, objectively, than what Varadkar has admitted to doing twice. The decision to prosecute Varadkar in a criminal trial rests with the Director of Public Prosecutions. There is an overwhelming case in a criminal level for Varadkar to answer. That is the thing that people need to focus on, and not to be worrying about a load of hot air in the Dáil, because that's all that this is. It is hot air. Okay, politicians, senators, TDs, even county councillors, when a county council is meeting, actually enjoy a very high level of privilege. So the proper use of that privilege is to ask the awkward questions. Because what it does is at least it brings something into the open. So the grilling that apparently Varadkar is getting in the Dáil at this very moment in time isn't all negative. I mean, it's not completely a waste of time. But people must not see this as anything more than what it is. It's just Dáil privilege where a politician is being asked to answer questions. RTE have already begun to have complete cognitive dissonance meltdown over this, because Varadkar is the woke messiah in RTE, and that broader Club Montrose that includes things like the Irish Times and News Talk and all the rest of it. But while I suppose the question would it be better that they were not doing this in the Dáil than that they are doing this? No, it's better that they're doing it. It is better that he is being at least questioned in regard to this in the Dáil. But the politicians cannot put him on trial. What we're witnessing in the Dáil at the moment is not a criminal trial. What we need to witness at some time in the future is a criminal trial of Varadkar for what he's done. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Varadkar is a criminal. Now, that must be qualified by the fact that he's not been convicted in a court of law. We're seeing today a verdict regarding Johnny Depp, which I think is an absolute thundering outrage. Johnny Depp was the plaintiff in that case. He was not the defendant. He had nothing to defend. But the collateral effect of the ruling in Johnny Depp is, in effect, to make a finding of fact that he's a wife-beater. I'm not aware of any evidence to suggest that Johnny Depp is a wife-beater. Okay, he has problems, but he's the first to admit that himself. He has quite considerable psychological problems. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Also one of the problems for Johnny Depp is that he's very rich and very prominent as an actor. Also, I gather that he could be quite erratic to work with as an actor, but that doesn't mean that he's a wife beater. It doesn't mean that he's a criminal. And the upshot of his defeat in the High Court in London in regard to his defamation action is, in my opinion, disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Johnny Depp, the same as you or me, has the right to protect his good name, and he has a right to a presumption of innocence before he is found guilty. He has never been convicted of wife-beating, and this case in London does not convict him of wife-beating. And already the gloating that's going on in the mainstream media about Johnny Depp is outrageous. We need to reform our mainstream media. That doesn't mean we need to bring in censorship, far from it. But we need to get rid of this slant against men, particularly, that exists in the mainstream media. Johnny Depp, in my eyes, is an entirely innocent man. Okay, he's had these problems. Okay, he's, been erratic in the past. Who hasn't? Who hasn't? He just doesn't have the luxury of anonymity. That's all. He doesn't have that particular... He's not able to live in privacy. And people are jealous of him. Of course they're jealous of him. He's very rich and he's been a very successful actor. Of course they're jealous of him. When he was younger, in his 20s, he was extremely good looking. When he did that film Cry Baby, he was absolutely gorgeous looking. He was really hot in that film Cry Baby. And when people are successful and prominent the way Johnny Depp is, then they're going to attract begrudgers, and this is what is happening to him. But it must be said, and the absolute ironclad upshot of the case in London is it does not convict Johnny Depp of wife-beating. So for people to be saying that he's a wife-beater is somewhat overstepping the mark. I believe he should appeal the verdict in the High Court in London, and I believe he has very strong grounds to succeed. Getting back to Varadkar. Varadkar has not been convicted of an offence, but he does need to be put on trial in a criminal court. So it's interesting to look at what's going on in the Dáil and all of this. But at the same time, when one reads social media, people are overreacting to it and are expecting that it's going to be seismic and cataclysmic in a way that it's not going to be. What they're doing in the Dáil, in fact, is they're circling the wagons. They are trying to fool people that they're going through the motions here. Oh, Varadkar's being held accountable. He's not. He admitted to having interfered in an official selection process. He admitted to it in 2017. So there's nothing new here. I'm not hearing anything we don't already know. So there's no particular significance to what's going on in the Dáil. There's no particular significance to it. So what they do, and this happened with Irish Water and their disgraceful expenditure on consultants, what they do is they have these inquiries. And they have these tribunals and these kind of things. Those inquiries and tribunals are worthwhile in a democratic republic and in a free society. They are worthwhile. But what we need is the political will and the will within the Director of Public Prosecutions to go to the next step and to initiate criminal proceedings against all of these people, most relevantly and most immediately Leo Varadkar.